Hey y'all, how many of you, like me, have experienced feeling abandoned or dropped or ignored within your romantic relationship? V wrote in and asked me about what should she do? She's gone through about 10 breakups. She's experienced this, I guess, in almost all of them. And I'd love to tell her, oh gosh, that's just you, right? But it's not true, is it? It's happened to me on a regular basis. I know there's so many of us that we have certain expectations, we have certain needs, we have certain wants, desires for how often we're going to be in communication with our partner within a romantic relationship. The funny thing is sometimes we might know this, but we actually don't really realize it until our needs aren't being met. So we don't take proactive steps to address it. And then we wait until we're within a relationship and we're disappointed. And then we say, oh, this isn't good. And we come at it from a place of hurt, anger, defensiveness, fear. Because there is a fear of abandonment for those of us. I mean, I would suggest that, frankly, it's probably a human thing to be afraid of abandonment, because as children, we're born to be completely dependent. We cannot survive on our own. No way, no how. So there has to be an innate fear of abandonment because we understand intuitively that we need other people. But then hopefully we grow up and we're a little bit healthier with it. Some of us are not so much. So, all right, here's the thing. Let's talk about what we do. If you've had issues in the past of feeling abandoned, dropped, ignored, let's talk about what you can do. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius. It is my pleasure to help you learn how to love yourself and then to love others better, and how to get the love that you deserve, knowing that you deserve to be well loved. It's my pleasure. So, all right, let's start. If you are in a relationship and if that relationship is making you feel worse about yourself, that's a problem. Very clearly. If you are in a relationship and being in that relationship makes you feel worse about yourself than you did outside the relationship, that is a problem. Now, just because there's a problem within a relationship does not mean that it's the wrong relationship for you. It does mean that you have to think about, okay, what part of this problem can I help resolve? There's a problem because you're not feeling as good about yourself within a relationship as otherwise. What part of that problem can you solve? All right, now let's think about it. The part that you can solve is that you can start to understand what it is that you need, want, and desire from the other person within that relationship. You can be very honest. Start with yourself. Honest about what you need. Do you need a good morning text? Do you need a mid-afternoon phone call? Do you need to talk to them every night before you go to sleep? Do you just need one phone call a day? When they're traveling, do you need to know when their plane is taking off and when their plane is landing? Do you need to know when, and I say need, but also you can switch that for want, okay? It is okay. This is a hard one for me. It is okay to want things that you don't absolutely need. That is a big one. A lot of us have tried our whole lives to be so independent that, frankly, we can now take care of ourselves without anybody's help, for the most part. But we are entitled to want more than just what we need. So if I use those, let's just, for right now, assume they're interchangeable, because I'm not trying to limit what it is that you need or want or should be able to get from a relationship. You just simply have to identify it to yourself. And I don't want you to quarrel over the particular words. I just want you to understand these are important things to you. And each of us has different needs, wants, and desires about communication and contact. So at the beginning of a dating relationship, it may be perfectly reasonable to go out on a date and then to not hear from somebody for several days or a week until they decide whatever, you have another date, etc. But within a relationship, that may not be something that suits you. You may want a little bit more connection, ongoing connection. That's totally okay. So once you figure out what you need, be specific about what you need. Write it down. If you cannot write down what it is that you need and want, if you just say, oh, I want them to think of me all the time, or I want them to reach out to me regularly, and you cannot identify what regularly means to you, what all the time means to you, if you cannot write it down, you cannot express it to somebody else, and that you're setting yourself up for failure, because nobody else is going to know exactly what that is to you, and therefore nobody is going to be able to give that to you. Nobody's going to be able to satisfy when they don't know what it is. And frankly, that's probably because you don't know what it is. That's the problem, is that we have to be able to be satisfied. If we truly have a huge issue with abandonment, God knows I've been there, I know this. When you have not dealt with your fear of abandonment, there is nothing anybody else can do to get you comforted. You have to get to the point where you understand, you recognize you've dealt with that fear of abandonment, and then you say, okay, now I can cope with it as long as if I can get these certain things met, then I can deal with the rest. If I tell you I need you, I want to hear from you 3 times a day, and you reach out to me 3 times a day, and I'm still feeling abandoned, scared, frightful, insecure, that's my work to do. And thank you, by the way, for helping me by giving me those parameters and then letting me see what's left for me to do. Okay, so write it down. What it is that you need, want, or desire. Be specific. Once you know, then I want you to express it clearly to your partner. Not in the sense of, yes, you deserve it, but not in a, you must give this to me, but this is what I need, want, and desire. This is what helps me feel comforted, safe. It allows me to relax. It is truly, it's like having a lock on our front door. If we're going to sleep, we feel better when the door is locked. If that door isn't locked, we're worried it's going to open. We're worried somebody's going to come in, something, whatever. So when you know what it is that will help you feel comforted and relaxed and allow you to breathe and to be your best self within a relationship instead of constantly worrying, then you express that to your partner. Now, that is what you can do. Then is the question. If your partner truly cares and wants to give you what you need, want, and desire within this relationship, it may not be that they have the need, want, and desire to reach out 3 times a day, but they feel like that's important for you, and and you know it is, and they're willing to do so. Let them have a chance to try to do that for you. And that means if they mess up sometime, because again, their needs, wants, and desires are slightly different than yours, do not throw them out with the bathwater the first time they mess up. Just say, hey, I was hoping to hear from you and I didn't. I just want to make sure, is everything okay so I can go back to feeling comfortable? And let them say, oh, yes, I'm very sorry. Yes, I'm so glad. Absolutely. I love you. I'm thinking of you, and I'll check back in with you whenever else, right? Give them a chance. Don't be afraid. Don't immediately assume the worst. Because if you are in a relationship with somebody, there has to be a level of trust. You have to start with the assumption that they want to fulfill your needs, wants, and desires just as much as you want to fulfill their needs, wants, and desires. Nobody's going to be perfect. Give them a chance. On the other hand, if it's consistent, if you recognize that, it's just not happening, then that's when you can say, okay, I've done what I can, but apparently my needs, wants, and desires don't match with what they want to give to me. Doesn't have to mean you're bad. It just has to mean we're different. I don't want to live on a farm. I could fall in love with somebody who really wants to live on a farm. I am not going to want to live on a farm. They're not going to want to live in the city. It has nothing to do with my value. It has nothing to do with whether they love me or not. It just has to do with the fact that my needs, wants, and desires are different than theirs. And know that about yourself. It's not that it's a bad thing for me to want to live in the city, nor a bad thing that they want to live on a farm. This is where I'm my best. That might be where they're best. That just is. And they don't work well together. Okay? If you need, want, and desire constant and regular connection through texts or phone calls or ongoing regular dates, whatever it is that you need, want, and desire, that is okay. And you deserve that. You simply have to be willing to not settle, not be frustrated, but to recognize that there's somebody else out there and to move on. And here's the thing. V said she's had about 10 breakups. Well, that's good because relationships, finding a good relationship, it is a numbers game, just like finding a good job, a good business partner. You have to go through several. You have to interview lots of times to find a great opportunity. People who just do one and take the first thing they get may or may not actually be a great match, fit. So don't feel bad. Just learn from each one. And as you go forward, once you get a very clear sense of what you need, want, and desire, and you can write it out, it's so much easier when you meet someone to talk about, well, so what kind of communication style works for you? How often, when you're in relationship, how often do you kind of reach out and etc.? Because on the very first date, if they say, oh, yeah, like, my last relationship, we went out every couple of weeks. We just checked in once a week. I'm not really a big phone person. I'm not a good texter. When we're together, then I'm there, I'm present. But in between that, not my thing. Well, that's really great. Now you know. If that's not you, hey, great, go enjoy, live on your farm, be happy, enjoy. I need to go find somebody who wants to do things that's more aligned with what my need, wants, and desires are. Okay? Just get past the fact that you have these abandonment issues. Just accept that you do. Great, cool. Now, how do you deal with them? What do you need, want, and desire? And how can you self-soothe yourself as long as you're getting whatever it is that you need from the partner, and spell that out. All right? So I hope that helps me. Thank you so much for reaching out. I really do appreciate getting emails and questions. Sometimes it can take me a little bit to respond. I apologize for that, but I do think about them, and I am very excited to help you. So please, you can reach me at beth@sexyedschool.com. You can also go to sexyedschool.com to go find my his and her oral classes, how to blow his mind while loving his body, and how the art of orally pleasuring her, or my my online video class for men, how to increase your orgasm up to 10 times with an Aneros prostate massager. You can also find my podcast, Come With Us Podcast. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts, but you can also go to comewithuspodcast.com, find it there. And please, if you listen to the podcast, please subscribe. Please tell other people about it, and please give us a review so that your reviews make a difference, because they help Apple tell other people about the podcast. So there you have it. Oh, you can also find my book, Love and Laughter, Sexy, Meaningful Fun for Everyone, at sexyedschool.com. So go there, check it out, subscribe to the newsletter. You'll get a free erotic story, and stay in touch with me. And thank you for liking this YouTube. Please feel free, put your comments, put your questions, subscribe to this YouTube channel also, and tell your friends, and stay tuned. And I will be back regularly with more questions and answers, and just little talks about how to love well. If you're smart, you're successful, and you're spiritual, I want you also to be sexy and successful in and out of the bedroom. Big hugs and kisses. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius, and I will see you sometime soon. Big love and hugs to you.